Hi there. Today I've taken a small question from the grade 10 mathematics book by Mahadia, and we're going to look at a quadratic equations that we need to solve by actually formula. So it's found on page 108. So we need to solve, okay, x to the square plus 2x minus 10 is equal to 0. Now, like I've explained before, so a quadratic equation is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are constants. And the formula we're going to use is x is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b to the square minus 4ac, all of that being divided by 2a. So what we simply need to do is just take those values of the constants a, b, and c and substitute it or plug it into this formula, and then it's going to give you the answer. So when we look at this quadratic equation over here, we have x squared plus 2x minus 10 is equal to 0. Comparing this to that, we've got a here, and in front here I've got a is equal to 1. So I have a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and then c is going to be equal to minus 10. A, b, and c. And now we just bring in the formula. X is equal to minus b, and b is 2. That's plus 2 here. So plus minus becomes minus. We have minus 2 plus or minus root of b square, and b turns out to be 2 here. So 2 to the square minus 4 times a, and then c. A is 1, and we got c as minus 10. Now always put a brackets wherever you've got negative, so that you don't make any mistakes. So over 2 times a, 2 times 1. So we have x is equal to minus 2 plus or minus root of 2 to the square is 4, minus minus becomes plus. 4 times 10 is 40, 40 plus 4 is 44. So all you need to do now is just look for those values from your calculator. So we've got two values of x. The first one is minus 2 minus root of 44 divided by 2, or x is going to be equal to minus 2 plus root of 44 divided by 2. Now this is already in third form, but we need to give the answer to 2 decimal places as stipulated in the rubric of the question. So what we're going to do, we're just going to plug this value into the calculator here. I've got minus 2 minus root of 44. So the way you do this, you take negative 2 minus root of 44. Then you press enter in your calculator. You're going to get a value there. And then you divide by the 2. So now divide by 2. Because if you put all the values in one go into the calculator, it's going to give you the wrong answer. So it depends how the calculator computes the data that is being supplied into it. 6, 6, and so on. So 2 decimal places out to minus 4.32. Here we are. That's the first answer. And then we've got the second answer. X is going to be equal to minus 2 plus root of 44. So this time I've got negative 2 plus the root of 44, and all of that's being divided by 2 here. And so we got 2.3166. So 2.3166. 2 and so on. So basically now we're saying x is equal to 2.32. So these are answers to 2 decimal places. Now this is how we go about and solve a quadratic equation by formula. We're going to look at the same quadratic equation now, but this time we're going to be solving it by completing the squares. Alright, so I'm just going to wipe this out, give you some time to copy this. Maybe you can just screenshot and just take it in your notebook. So here we are. Now I want to solve the same equation, but this time we're not going to be using the formula, and give the answer to 2 decimal places by completing the squares. By completing the squares. Now, so this is the way we do this. You're going to take x squared plus 2x minus 10 is equal to 0. So when you look at this equation, the first thing you're going to look at is the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is 2 here. So what you do, you take this coefficient of x, you divide by 2, which is then, here it's 2, so 2 divided by 2 is going to be equal to 1. And the next thing you do, you take a bracket here, the x square goes inside and the square goes outside. You've got plus 1 there, so you add that 1 inside. And then you minus the 10, and all of that should be equal to 0. But then again, there's one thing that you should do. The minus 10 is okay, but there was a plus 1 here. So what you need to do now is just to square that and then take it away from the minus 10. So this becomes then x plus 1 to the square minus 11 is equal to 0. Simplifying, you get x plus 1 to the square is equal to the minus 11 can go there, becomes plus. So x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus root of 11. So we have x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus root of 11. One of the values is x is equal to minus 1 minus root of 11, or then you got x is equal to minus 1 plus root of 11. So this is going to become minus 1 minus the root of 11, and the first answer turns out to be 4.3166. So minus 4.3166 and so on. So what I'm saying is to 2 decimal places minus 4.32. The next one is negative 1 minus 1 plus the root of 11. That turns out to be 2.3. So this is 2.316624 and so on. So to 2 decimal places 2.32. So these are again now 2 decimal places. As you can see, the answers are exactly the same when we did solve the equation by formula, and this time by completing the squares. And this is how we go about and solve a quadratic equation by completing the squares. Take care.